Hey, what's up team? It's Sherman here from Geek Psychology. This video is on introverted thinking and introverted feeling and what the difference is between those and why they're doing what they're doing. Introverted thinking is going based on logical, clear, concise principles, and introverted feeling is going on values and beliefs and ethics, morals, stuff like that. So in this video, I'm going to be going through the explanation of those, and hopefully it will clear up some of the problems, some of the confusion, and help you understand which one is actually within your cognitive function stack, which one is guiding you in some ways. Even if you are like, I'm an extroverted feeler, well, it's still connected to introverted thinking. Extroverted thinkers still connected to introverted feeling. So they are working within you, and it's important to understand how that's happening and how maybe you are avoiding some of the advice from that function or whatnot, or leaning too hard on it possibly. So I really do feel that it's super important to understand this stuff, because it's another way of one, understanding yourself and who you are, how you make decisions. And also it's a way of understanding how other people do it. And if you can get both of those with enough awareness and enough understanding, then you're able to make better decisions. You're able to support your life better. You're able to support other people better, and hopefully guide them in a way that they will understand more about themselves and then use that to further spread out and help the world. That's my viewpoint of it. Really do feel it's important, just as with any of the cognitive functions. But this one, like the introverted judging functions, are what you could call your compass. They show you where you are, where you stand. This is my priority in terms of internal, personalized, subjective judgments, decision making. And if you don't know how you make those decisions, and if you don't have a clear understanding of that, I feel that it does create a lot of chaos. And yes, this can be spread out to the other cognitive functions too, but maybe it's just because I, as an INFP, lead with introverted feeling that I feel it has a big, strong weight to it. And so I'm going to explain it like that, and we'll go through it. All right. So introverted thinking, introverted feeling are both introverted judging functions. I just touched on this a little bit, but this is how you organize your understanding of the world to make decisions, specifically for making decisions. It's not perceiving, it's not gathering information. It's like, this is how I decide what I should do or what I should think in a situation. So it's like you're taking these puzzle pieces and trying to fit them in within your brain to understand how this data point fits with this data point. Like, how are they connected here? And same with feelings too. If you're talking about introverted feeling, it's like this emotion, this value, and this one over here, how do they fit? And if you understand how these things fit, then you can get that larger picture of how you should make a judgment in a situation, how you should decide what to do based on your own self and who you are, how you are going to influence the situation from your own side, not the extroverted side, not how am I going to take action, but like really where you stand, where you are, what is important to you on a deep value or principle based level. So let's talk about introverted thinking. It's a little foreign to me, but as an introverted judging process, I do relate to it in some ways. You have a lot of data points, you've learned this information, and what it does is it isolates it. It's like, this is relevant, this is relevant, this is relevant, this is relevant. So let's put a little box around that. It's like you have all these different data points written within an Excel spreadsheet or something like that. And you're like, right now we're going to look at these. this row, this column, or these rows and these columns. And that is what's important right now to make a leveraged decision. And you do this a lot of times through refining it, through refining the categories, through naming them, through defining them, through understanding the taxonomies at play. And you do that enough and you have this clear data set that's like, I know exactly what to do right now because this makes the most technical, logical sense. Dario Nardi gave an example in one of his books, is a dolphin. Is it a mammal? Is it a fish? And why? Like you take all those little data points that show what a mammal is or show what a fish is, and you slowly piece the dolphin into which one. You put it in the category that it fits. And then when you do that, you have a clear understanding of what that is because you have all these bits and pieces of information that are working together at the same time to make sense of the thing. This is my understanding, but you'll see these different groupings of information, these different internal containers, these different categories. And then you can look at it as an introverted thinker and be like, well, this fits the system at play right now, the situation best right now. And so I'm going to use that. That makes the most sense. I'm going to use that as leverage to succeed. And this becomes a principle, like a fundamental truth that you stand by. Like, why would you do that? You should do this. All the information points to doing this. And it's not based on how you feel about it. It's not based on how other people think about it or what the socially approved thing to do is. This makes complete logical, rational, cold, detached sense to me. And that system, that framework that you created by isolating things is what you use. You kind of like implant it onto the situation to understand what you should do. And so going from there, I feel that introverted feeling does a very similar thing. This is my viewpoint on it. I know other people will have different viewpoints on it, but this is even more subjective. Introverted feeling is even more subjective than introverted thinking. They're both subjective, but introverted thinking, you can at least point to data that makes sense, and you can use that to reason through whatever it is, through analyzing and whatnot. Introverted feeling is based on feelings that you have gone through, you've experienced, and you can't really bring that out with words and express it concisely. It's really difficult to explain like the exact level of feeling that you went through in a certain situation. And so it becomes even more subjective, and this gives it, in a lot of ways, a very, I don't want to say untrustworthy, but like people will look at it and be like, well, you're not giving me any evidence of this. You feel that way, so what? Right? But for an introverted feeler, it's deep, strong. That feeling is deep within our bones, within our core, and it's just like, I can't not act upon this. So let's take it apart a little bit. Kind of went on a little rant, but introverted feeling, I like to think of it as doing the same thing as introverted thinking did with data, but it's with feelings. So you have how I felt in this situation, and this situation, and this situation, and these are all relevant right now within this system at play in the moment. So like you go to a store and you see the staff behind the register, and you kind of put yourself into their situation. Like, I've worked a crappy job before, and I can see how they're probably feeling right now. Then, a customer is yelling at the staff. You're like, wow, I've been yelled at before. This is my experience of it, but I can kind of transplant that into the situation. So this person is feeling kind of, upset about working at a job that they don't like. They're being yelled at by somebody that they don't care about, and they don't need to really trust their opinions or anything like that, but they kind of have to because of the job. And I've been through something similar to that. You kind of just piece those together, and you're like, that is probably how that person is feeling right now. You do it from yourself first, but you use that to make your decision on how you should act. And so through doing that, you're slowly refining these emotional data points and putting them into a more named, hopefully, it doesn't even have to be named with words, but like a more refined and defined category. And then you're using that to solidify your values. Your values are how much weight you put on these different voices that are speaking at the same time, these different emotions that are coming out. So it's a judgment based on how important it is to follow, to listen to this voice. So all these different voices are talking, all these different emotions, these different experiences are being refelt, and you're trying to figure out which one should be trusted the most. And you do that enough, and you become internally aligned with your decisions. So it's like, I definitely would not do this. I wouldn't litter because littering is bad. I hear this other voice like, wow, that would be really easy to just drop off the trash right there, because you don't want to hold it. It's going to get all dirty and messy and stuff, and you don't know where the next trash can is, but you're listening to all these voices and you're like, I'm not somebody who would do that. And if I did that, then I would be listening to this other voice within myself. And now that belief, that value, that even emotion that comes out of it, that voice, then gets put into this other category of, this is something that I do now. There's a lot of internal dissonance happening through there, because you're just like, this is not somebody who I am, but yet I did this. And you have to reconcile that. You have to figure out how to really deal with that categorization of values, beliefs, actions. For both of these introverted judging functions, IP types, we don't want to be wrong, right? We're really fighting being wrong. And so if the data that we've absorbed for an introverted thinker, if that data is incorrect, then you need to find a way to adjust that. And that changes how you make decisions and the principles that you stand by and the categorization and names. Like, you have to redo all of that, and that sucks. So it's easier to just to listen to your tertiary function, like introverted sensing, introverted intuition, and just supply subjective data in there. And you're like, oh yeah, I'm right, I'm fine. This makes sense because I've had this experience. I can just put in that data from before, these memories, these insights or whatever. And same for introverted feeling. It's like when I act not according to who I am, my identity, then I need to go through and redo my identity, and it's exhausting. And so that's why you listen to your tertiary function, and just instead of taking in new data, you rely on your subjective viewpoints of things. Wrapping this up, how can you use this? Well, like I said before, you use one of these within your cognitive function stack. You must. You have to make decisions based on what is going on around you, extroverted judging. You have to also refine those decisions internally through introverted judging. So it's important to understand where that introverted judging decision-making process falls within your stack. If it's your dominant function, it's like your leader style. This is how you approach most situations, and it's probably very well defined and refined through information or emotions, whichever one. But the further down it gets on the stack, the kind of wilder it gets, a little bit more chaotic, I suppose. The second one, if it's your auxiliary function, if it's your companion style, This is how you're helping other people a lot of times. This is how you kind of augment your leader style. And so people might come up to you for advice about the correct information. Like, does this make sense? And you're like, yes, it does. They're coming to you for advice about that, and you're helping them name, define, categorize the information. For an EFP, it's like, this is how I felt in a situation. This is my belief or value set. And so I'm going to support you with that. Like, have you felt this before? Have you been in this situation before? Maybe this is something that you could do, and in kind of going through with that. For the third and fourth functions, the tertiary and inferior, like the rookie style or the anti-hero style is how I like to call it. This is for the FJ type. You'll probably use introverted thinking to weaponize data, to find ways to like bring out that information to attack people, and possibly even to be like hypercritical or overcritical of people. It'll come out in those ways. For the TJ types, it's introverted feeling, right? But it's at a lower level, so it often comes out through strong emotions, strongly held, like isolated emotions, like pride, anger, I feel like I'm a martyr or something like that. Like it can come out in these strongly held emotions or beliefs, or very harsh moral judgments as well. So think about it, like, how is introverted judging, in whatever way, introverted thinking or introverted feeling, how is that coming out in you? And is that right? Like, does it need a little bit more attention? Do you need to find ways to build a little bit more rapport with that function? And or are you not using it to the best of your ability? If it's one of your first or second functions, then yeah, it's kind of a superpower in a way for you. So use that to help other people, use that to help yourself grow and become the badass that you are. Cool. All right, so that is it. Please let me know down below in the comments anything that you thought of, anything that I said that resonated or did not resonate. And if this was helpful for you, it's going to be helpful for somebody else. So please like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Keep up the lifelong questing. Thank you very much, patrons. These outros are getting longer and longer. And see ya. Peace. See you in the next video. Bye.